I'm actually really excited to see which song people are drawn to the most. Not saying that's something that's specifically for next year. I'm also excited to go on tour, even though no, I'm lying. I'm not. But like, I'm excited to visit. I think I'm visiting New Zealand next year too, you know.
I don't know if I have anything to do with it. The position on this on the album is super deliberate. I don't know if you get like nerd out over track listings. I love track listings and orders of things and stuff. But I feel like this is like the door opens up a little bit and things start, you know what I mean?
Wow, I never thought about that. I'm really bad at track listing. I had to get people to tell me, really.
Really?
Yeah, I had to call Muramasa in because he's like the person I work with the most, and I had to be like literally tell me how this works because I don't know. But people do care about track listing a lot. I never realized until I was doing music.
It's one of those rare things where I think as music's been kind of like broken down into individual components and split up and distributed like a trillion pieces.
Yeah.
It's nice to be able to create context and tell stories. And you've had such a good time, and we've had such a good time hearing songs and EPs and mixtapes and stuff. But this feels like an album to me, start to finish. So you and Muramasa got it right, top to bottom.
Oh, appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Congratulations on completing it.
Thank you.
How did you feel when you finished it? How did you know when you finished it?
I didn't know, and I still don't know, but
you never will.
Yeah, exactly. I never will, and I think I'm too like prepared at any time to go back in and like switch things around and change things and make things quote unquote better. But then I realize in the process of doing that, I'm actually making things worse. So
isn't it a part of not wanting to finish because it's fun too? Like, I mean, indecision is also
no.
Really?
No,
it's not fun for you?
No.
Oh, I love it.
Well, you love the process is fun until it's not fun anymore.
Right. When does it stop being fun?
I think that's when I'm starting to double guess myself. Because usually I don't I was just saying like my ears, like I'm so confident with my ears, but once my ears started to like question things, I'm like, God. Yeah.
That's when execution becomes one of the hardest things in the process.
Exactly.
Letting it go. Who helps you through that? Muramasa, people like that? Do you turn to them and say, hey, look, am I losing perspective here?
I think my good friend for many years and collaborator, his name's Phil, his producer name is Phil, and he is actually one of the people I go to and say, okay, cool, is this, what do we think? There's also a lot of school friends that I know are unbiased and won't tell me things to like blow smoke that I turn to as well. Yeah. And then honestly, I just look into the mirror sometimes and I physically ask myself in the mirror, I'm like, what do you think about this now?
Oh man, self-conversations, especially when you're staring at yourself about something that's as deep as making music and having the courage to share it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's some hard shit.
It's some hard shit.
That's some hard shit. I feel like you've had to go and do a lot. I mean, I'm making an assumption here, so please correct me, but from the minute that you showed up, and everything was very deliberate and very thoughtful, and you were very kind of reticent to show yourself and be upfront of the music you let us come to our conclusion, and it worked. It was like, what a beautiful impression to just fall in love with the songs and the tone and the feel and the performance and the honesty. And then it's like, all right, cool, who am I to people then? Like, I can't hide forever. Like, how has that experience been for you, sort of emerging from that safe place out into this?
Well, I was actually speaking to my friend about this the other day because I was asking him, he told me randomly, he was saying, you know what, you've been so lucky because you have not had to prove who you are to people. Like, you've not had to convince people about yourself. Like, people have just done the convincing for you. Like, people have almost just made their assumptions and you haven't really had to force anything. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, I never really thought about that. And I was like, what do you mean by that? And he goes, well, you started in your bedroom and you are like the success story from your bedroom to like the main stage or whatever, all of these accolades. And you did start from a bedroom, and this is like your real life story. Like, it's not like you've had to like take a picture of yourself in your bedroom on GarageBand.
Yeah, it's not a marketing exercise.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, you're kind of right. And I think about I never look at other artists and think, what's that? But like, I realize like the artists that I have, I guess, looked at during my own career and looked at and thought, wow, they've really done it in a way which I think is like beautiful and effortless. Those are the people where I've realized like they haven't really had to convince anybody about anything. They've just kind of been themselves, and like people have, you know. And when I was emerging out from my shell of not really showing my face and then showing my face, I realized that people were kind of, it felt easy because people were telling me what I was. I didn't have to be like, this is what I am. And their assumptions were correct. It was like, yes, I am this shy girl from this small city in the UK. I was an emo. I do dress like this. I do have this kind of humor. Like, they were telling me, and I was like, yeah, they're kind of right. Like,
thank goodness, because if they got it wrong, that identity is hard to shake. And I've spoken to a lot of artists who have had on the receiving end of the wrong identity shape.
Yeah.
Where people go, oh, that mystery, like, like, this is who you are. And they're like, no, I've got to do a whole lot more work to try to figure out how to present myself. So that just speaks to the authenticity of the music and what you were putting across from a very early stage. And the emo thing is really fascinating to me because I hear it, but I didn't realize the depth that it really affected you until I saw you on stage with Haley and the boys. And like going up there and doing Misery Business, that moment, which I thought was one of my favorite moments from a sort of concert I've watched on YouTube or whatever for a while. Was that like that's the perfect, this is so good. I was trying to talk to my friend about this the other day because I've been doing that, right? Because I have 2 teenage boys, so I've been doing that. And my friend was like, well, I need to know when the time is right for an
Yeah.
And I've been trying to teach them from my perspective when the right happened. That was the
best I've ever done in my life.
And it's really like that wasn't as good, that one, because it's no, because when you get it right, it is a good feeling, right?
And it was self-referential, so yeah.
Aw.
But then it can be kind of condescending too.
No, that's what's so beautiful about it is it's on the line. Anyway, that was when I watched you with Paramore, but that moment was amazing, and I wonder kind of like what your younger self would have felt like when you find not on your stage, on someone else's stage and do that.
Well, I watched the same thing happen when I was 14, where she brought someone doing that exact bit to the point where the manager came up before I went on stage. He was like, "Well, we might call you up to do this section, like I'm not really too sure if we will, but like, would you be down if we pulled you from backstage, would you be down to go up?" And I was like, yeah, of course. But he was like, oh, by the way, the section of the song is, and I literally was like, you don't need to tell me which section of the song it is. I know it is.
I'm ready.
I know which part it is. And I'd watched someone else do it, like when I was 14, the same section, she was wearing a dinosaur onesie. And I remember thinking to myself, I could never do what that woman did going up on that stage in front of, I was like, no way. Even going up on the stage now with those many people, I was like, this is horrible.
That's so cool though. What an amazing realization that you did. And you could.
I could.
Yeah. So who was that 14-year-old kid who saw the concert and couldn't do that? And not to put too big a context around it, how did that person find the courage to want to express yourself in the first place? Because where this road was leading. You put out music, chances are you're going to want to sing it live in front of people.
See, that's never been my thing. I've never ever had the belief of, okay, the music is here, I want to sing it live. Never. I could do in fact, like in my head, I always thought, how am I going to do live shows? And I always imagined I'd want to do shows as like listening parties where I'm not singing it, but I'm actually more just listening with everyone else. And like, I don't know, I just never really thought to myself, this is going to translate nicely. The courage to do music really, really stemmed from my desperation to be successful. I always knew I wanted to be successful, and I always knew I wanted to do exactly what I wanted to do in my brain. And what that was an accumulation. It was like, I wanted to be, I actually wanted to be like a flipping film editor. I wanted to be in films. There was even part of me that wanted to be an actress. There was part of me that just wanted to be like someone successful so I can just be happy about like the success that I've built for myself, I just I knew I didn't want to have a job where I wasn't sure about my success. Like I wanted it to be like, okay, I'm doing this job and I'm good at it. So the courage really came from, I'm desperate right now. So when I was 18, that was where I was like, okay, it's between going to university or doing what I want as my dream job. And it's so funny because at 19, I felt like time was running out.
Isn't it weird? I hear that from young artists, and I hear that from, I don't want to bring them into the context because it's like, I don't want to speak on my kids' names or anything, but I know that the generation, I'll say this, I know that the generation feels the pressure of time more than even I did when I was a kid. And I felt like time was fast back then.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Where do you think that comes from? What do you think, being someone who's kind of felt that way at 19, coming through the other side of it and knowing you have space to continue to create and you have a lane and you are successful, what do you think was motivating that? Any idea?
I think there's a bunch of things, honestly. And actually, it gets kind of deep at some point. I think there was part of me which was like, okay, I'm in my prime right now in every sense. My vocals will be the best they are because as you get older, like, I don't know how aging works, but I just assume that they will decrease in time and quality. I thought I'm young, like, I look probably the best I'm going to be able to look like now. Like, it's crazy. Like, this is really what I was thinking. I was like, I'm in the best shape I'll be. I'm in the best mindset. I have the most time. I don't have a family yet. I don't have a partner yet.
Yeah.
My parents are away in a different country right now, so they can't survey what I'm doing. Like, there was a bunch of things that made me think that, but also obviously the added pressure of seeing online media and seeing people starting things at 16 and
FOMO is real. It's a real psychological
FOMO.
thing.
Yeah, FOMO, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had fear of it. I literally had fear of it. I was like, oh my God, these young people doing all these parties and like having money and being able to buy cars. I was like, okay, I really need to figure this out.
You need to figure it out. It's a totally fair motivation, and I can totally relate to it. I mean, I definitely had my motivations that I could pretend that they were super pure and stuck in the arts and all that stuff, but a lot of it was trying to prove things to people, trying to get past trauma. Tons of reasons why I was motivated to go and do my shit. But at some point you come through the other side and you have to decide whether you're actually going to stick it out, right?
Yeah.
Because you could walk away now and be like, man, you had records out, you've done well, you probably got some money in your pocket, you could actually go and do something different. So you got to make a decision, and I guess you have. Like, no, I fucking love this. Like,
yeah, that is true. I mean, I've said before that I want to have actually more than one career in my life. I actually want to have like a total of 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So part of me was like, okay, after music, I'm going to do like, and when I say career, I mean like, I'm not talking like in music, I'm talking like a teacher.
Right.
Or I want to be a detective, or I want to be like
Sick.
something. I don't know if that'll actually happen because I don't know. I think as time goes on, once you get deeper into a job that you enjoy, you kind of feel less like you want to leave.
Well, but that can also come from fear, right? That also comes from like, I've got
fear.
stuff now.
Yeah, I've got assets, I've got stuff. Yeah.
I
That is
bought
true.
tons of stuff.
Ooh, loads of stuff. Yeah, that is very true as well.
But you know what a good occupation for getting rid of stuff and starting again would be? A detective.
Garbage disposal. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, that's good too. I mean, by the way,
You said getting rid of stuff. I just said use the literal.
you were being literal and
Yeah,
I was being a little lateral.
You shouldn't do that. all the time.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
I won't be quite so lateral in my life.
Yeah.
Hard habit to break at 50, but I'll give it a crack.
50?
Yeah, what do you think you were wishing me happy birthday for?
No,
41.
No. I obviously, okay, I don't know, and I don't have, I'm nice, I don't ask.
Is this my Don Cheadle moment? Am I getting completely Kevin Harted right now?
I don't get the references, but you don't look 50 years old.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I thought you were being like, damn. Aw.
Oh, 50. Oh, when you said you had 2 boys, I was like, 2
That's
boys.
the perfect opportunity for you to do that. That's when you could have hit me with a, aw.
No, I wouldn't. Oh, 2 boys. Oh, 50. Oh.
I just am really into the idea of detective work being a thing that people would actively want to do, because the kind of thing that you see on television, it exists. People are detectives.
Yeah.
Are you the kind of personality that is well suited to detective work?
No, I'm scared of. First of all, you have to be a part of the police. And that's the first issue we're running into. Second of all, you have to be able to look at gory stuff. I can't do it.
Can't do it.
3,
Yeah.
I this is so niche, but like I imagine when you go to crime scenes, you have to smell the body and smell it.
All 5 senses.
All 5 senses.
Touch
Touch
smell,
too. I wouldn't touch
feel.
anything, but yeah, smell.
You would be a shit detective.
Yeah, I'd be crap. So yeah, let's be real. Honestly, it's just more about the looking at the crime sheets and like the figuring out the whodunit moment.
The whodunit thing.
Yeah.
But you've got Cluedo for that. You don't need to be a detective. Just play a board game.
I never really got
Games
Cluedo.
night. Games night.
Yeah, games night. Fine. Okay, you got me.
Yeah, I got a lot of time for games night right now. I'd imagine.
No, I do. I absolutely do. I
do?
do many games nights.
You do?
Mhm.
Even whilst you're running a very successful music career and
If you
touring and
aren't-
traveling? And...
If you aren't doing games nights, then your career is not successful enough.
Oh, wait, hang on. If you're not doing games night, I see. So the success affords you the space to be able to say, I'm playing games.
Yes.
The album is so great. Heaven knows. It's a beautiful title. It's an amazing body of work. I mean, I started by talking a bit about Bury Me. I love the one, the aisle 4 on the floor. I love that song.
Oh yeah. The 4 on the floor.
But it starts and it continues with a very strong opening statement, which is to me, internally or otherwise, which is that you've been through some stuff and you've gone inside and poured it into the album. I mean, the way I described it earlier today, I was talking to my friends about you. I was like, when you first came out, it was like so. I want to say thank you because you brought the outside inside.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were all inside,
We were all inside.
and you were just out there.
I was
like,
outside.
It felt like it. It sounded like it.
Yeah.
You're not outside anymore.
No, I'm not outside. I'm inside.
Inside.
Yes.
Deep.
Deep inside.
Deep writing.
Deep writing.
Deep writing. You've gone some real places on this record. So I guess I want to just start there. Like, when did you realize that this album was going to deal with some of these pretty sort of intense human topics?
I genuinely, when it comes to subject matter, I don't know where honestly, it's like I'm just bleeding onto the paper when I write, you know what I'm saying? But it's not necessarily from I say, and this has been from the beginning of my music, it's like, it's not really coming from it's weird because I make it sound like I'm constantly chasing love and affection from someone, which isn't true to my conscious belief, but then somewhere in my subconscious belief, it must be true because I keep talking about it. So it makes it, honestly, I'm not too sure, but there are issues in the album, such as there's a song about me dying.
Which one's that?
It's one called Ophelia, where it's like, where someone's actually killing me. They're drowning me in a bathtub. That's literally what it's about. Yeah. And there's another one about
I think that would almost have to be, just pausing on that particularly traumatic subject for a second, I'd imagine that would have to be one of the worst ways to go, not just because of the fact that someone is murdering you, but you can sort of see them.
You can see them through the water, yeah, you can. Yeah,
you know who it is.
You know who it is.
You know who's killing you.
You know who it is.
Brutal.
That is definitely one of the worst ways to go. I did think about that too.
Yeah, and what was going on, on your day that day? Can you
when I
remember
wrote that,
where you were?
I was with Danielle Hall, so he's the person that produced it originally, and I can't really remember what it was that I was. This is what I think I realized. So he's really he's into lore. He's into like fantastical things. He's very medieval. Like if you hang out with him, he says stuff like "my lord" and like "my liege." Like that's his type of humor. He goes "your highness" and stuff like that. He also has like loads of like tarot cards in his studio. And,
I love this guy.
And like books about medieval mythology, stuff like that. Like he's very into that kind of stuff. And
nice to meet you, good sir.
That's literally how he would say that to you. He might, yeah. And the song is called Ophelia because it's about Ophelia from the book. Oh my God, remind me, is it Macbeth or Hamlet? There's one Shakespeare with the character Ophelia in it, and she drowns herself because of something or other that happens in the book. Can't remember anything about it. I know it's Shakespeare, and there's a character called Ophelia, and I remember thinking maybe it was the whole being in his room and the medieval vibe that he was really pushing onto me as a person, and just in all his room, like the essence of his room is just completely pushing that onto you whenever you walk in there. Or I don't know what it was, something that made me think of that play, which I studied in school, and then made me write about this character Ophelia who drowned, but instead of drowning myself, because I felt that was too heavy, you don't want to do that.
Or you'd have people like me, are you okay for the next 10 years? Like, fuck that.
And I am fine.
I know.
And so I was like, okay, instead I'm going to actually have it as someone killing me in a bathtub, drowning.
I love it.
Yeah. That was a long segue, but yeah.
Time.
Okay.
I love it. And the reason I love it is because where else but art could you actually explore that sensation and that story and turn it into a banger? Yeah,
your accent's really, I've never heard it be this thick before. Art.
Yeah. Yeah, g'day. G'day, mate.
Wait, which part of Australia?
Auckland.
Oh.
But it's cool.
Is it?
No.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's all right. It's not actually a problem.
No, but it is. And
like when I was like 15 and playing sports.
Okay.
You know, like I'm like, I don't know if you know this, but I'm 50. And like, that's where you go, aw. I keep feeding them. I'm from Auckland. Have you been?
Yes.
Did you like it?
I you know what I did actually, and what did I really pick up on that I thought was surprising? The food.
Good.
Yeah, it was great.
Fresh, good coffee.
Coffee, yeah, the coffee was good. I didn't have any coffee. I had bubble tea. I didn't have coffee.
Do you not do caffeine?
I do caffeine.
I do, thank you, my liege.
My lord. I do coffee.
I think you'll find I do inhabit a good, strong, hot cup of coffee.
You're reminding me a lot of Danielle Hall, especially with those glasses on, because he wears glasses.
He does.
But no, I did like Auckland. Just a long plane. Do you find yourself going a lot?
Well, it's much easier from here. You going from London is like
20-something
going to
hours.
Mars.
It is.
Like, in fact, it's probably quicker going to Mars. It's crazy. It's a long way to go. I used to do that trip all the time when I lived in London for years, and there's no easy way around it.
There's no easy way.
Do you like to travel?
I don't like to travel because I don't like planes, and that's usually the only way you can really find.
Yeah, so I never used to like to fly either. As I've gotten older, I've realized like there's certain things you just can't worry about anymore because you have to make room for new worries.
That's actually a great bit of advice. I'm not going to lie to you. I feel like I'm speaking with a bit of an Australian twang. Sorry. Oh, Zane. a bit of a a twang. I feel like I'm speaking in a bit of a twang.
Well, you clearly
Auckland
like
twang.
Australian more than New Zealand.
No, I don't. That's
keep going
not
back to
true.
it.
It's not true. It's just because I was just with an Australian, so now I'm just like associating you. I'm sorry, New Zealand twang. But I can identify the New Zealand accent more. But you don't really sound like you're from New Zealand. You sound more Australian to me because New Zealand talk like this.
Oh, I mean, I've got there's probably a little bit of like transatlantic, post-Pacific Mark Ronson inability to be able to work out what you.
Wow, the international school.
Hey, what's up? This is Beverly.
Sure, okay.
Hey, it's PinkPantheress. Last night I was hanging out with like Bob Dylan and like Roman Gavras. It's a big night. Anyway, I'm Mark Ronson. Okay.
That was a great impression.
It's pretty good. Have you worked with him?
Well, for the Barbie soundtrack.
That's right. Yeah. How was that?
It was great, but I didn't. Yeah, it was so interesting speaking to him because he knew deep cuts, and I was like, well, how do you? Unless he just researched it that day.
No, he's in.
He's in?
He's all in.
He's all in.
Yeah, he is. He's legit. I mean, Mark is one of my closest friends in the world. I couldn't get away with that impression.
I was thinking, I was like, oh, do I laugh?
You can laugh. It's on the line. In fact, he did it back to me. I had lunch with him in New York 3 days ago, and he did his own accent back at me. So he's fine with it.
Okay, great.
But he's deeply, deeply connected to music in every
Well,
way.
yeah, he must bleed it and eat it. But I was gonna say about him. So when I was younger, growing up, obviously Mark Ronson, obviously icon still is, he's been here. So when I was growing up, I remember that he had that. Was it Mark Ronson the international?
Yes.
What was it called?
It was like the International School of Business. Or something.
That's why his accent's like that.
It was though. It was like Mark Ronson
and the
like,
Business International something
like that.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
I remember there was one song called Bang Bang Bang.
That's a big tune.
Which is so But why do I feel like no one knows that song?
Well, because
But anyway, that was my
there are very well known Mark Ronson
and that's
moments,
a bit more
and then there was
of
a little more deep cuts.
Okay, well great, but that song ruled my world when I was
Huge.
About
Bang,
10.
bang, bang.
Yeah. Do you know all his songs because you're his best friend?
Some of them, yes, I have to know all of them.
Right,
Yes, I have
okay.
to know exactly what I'm talking about when I
Okay.
see him because he tests me.
Oh wow.
Hey, like track 600. What's that called again?
So, if you're an emo kid growing up, how important a role was music in sort of helping you get through that fucking weird teenage shit?
Oh, it was the most pivotal part. Well, that's kind of it's actually then when I realized that music could actually influence your whole identity, down to the clothes, down to the hair, even down to how you speak and
who you attract in your life, because that's how you meet people. They're like, oh, I dress like that.
Exactly. So obviously I was the emo. I was friends with all the emos at my school. And that was really my life. Like, and music ruled my life to the point when they started listening to other music, I then joined them and started listening to the other bits of music they were. So we all made this transition together from emo to this genre to this genre. We all made it together.
And when did tempo show up? When did it start to become something that was kind of dancehall orientated? You know what I mean?
I made that bit of the journey by myself.
Right. So that's interesting to me because the first time I heard your music and I realized that it come from a bedroom, not because you're a bedroom artist, that term is kind of shit, but because we were all in our
bedrooms. Yeah.
We were in quarantines. It's like it couldn't be made anywhere else but at home, right?
No.
So I knew that you were doing it yourself. I knew that it was coming from somewhere really personal. It reminded me a little bit of original Pirate material in that sense that I knew that no one knew who Mike was until Mike was ready.
Yes.
And Mike made it.
I was just reading a Wikipedia article about that album. It's such a good album.
Incredible.
But yeah, exactly. So no one, and so when I found dance music, I was about, 17. And honestly, the reason I always mention Cajun Arter is because that was my segue. That was like my gateway into music. Even though he is Canadian and not British, that was when I found his collaboration with Aluna George, that was kind of when I was like, okay, let me go down this path. That's where I discovered Sam Smith with Disclosure. And then you find all these garage tracks that at the time, Georgia Smith on My Mind was like, that had that big moment. And then I was like, okay, that's an amazing song. What else can we find? Then you find Sunship, then you find Shy FX, and then you find that whole group and you're like, okay, now this is garage. And now we found ourselves at Mike Skinner with The Streets. And so it's like a literal, like, now it's like an iceberg. And then it goes even deeper than obviously The Streets because they're huge in the UK and worldwide too.
Yeah.
So So and that's pretty much where I found myself
here. How can
here.
you not love music? When you put it like the way you put it, like You just made it sound like the greatest 6 months of you could ever spend.
Well, for a teenager, it was. And I felt so cool and I felt so exclusive at the time because I remember thinking, I know no one else knows what this is. But they did. But I remember thinking, I feel so exclusive. I feel like no one else knows who Kate Renata is. Mind you, Kate Renata had the boiler room and obviously had blown up at the time and was still blowing up.
But it's how it makes you feel. And if you feel like it belongs to me, isn't that how you then translate it into something that actually is yours?
Exactly. And that's what I did. And that's how I wanted to make people feel too. So that I took that and I was like, okay, I like what they've done here. I like how they make me feel. I'm going to make people feel like that too.
When was the first time you realized you'd succeeded? Because being that success is important to you.
Okay. It's just so funny speaking about it in Gen Z terms, but honestly, when my first TikTok blew up because all I do use TikTok for and wanted to use it for was for music. I was never about vlogging or this is what I ate today. It was all about like, this is for strictly music. So when I first posted my first snippet and that, it didn't go viral. This is the thing, I hate the viral, but when I had the first few hundred comments being like, oh my god, this is amazing, I was like, okay, success.
The relationship is real.
The relationship is real, and right. I can trust my ears because I thought this was good when I made it, or I thought it was good enough, and then people were confirming it for me, so I was like, okay, good, this is great.
I think taste is probably the most important thing out of all of it.
Yeah, and I'm like,
you put all the hours you want in, all the days, all the years, hang around, do all the studying, whatever. If you don't have that instinct for taste.
Yes, and I'm learning this as we go along. Like taste for me at the beginning, I just kind of thought we had to like everything. Like when it came to music, we were told what to like.
Yeah.
And then there's why I went on. I was like, no, like there's a reason people are called tastemakers and stuff like that, or why people call it a tastemaker festival or a tastemaker playlist. It's because taste is so important. Crucial. Even when picking features, it's so crucial.
Yeah, and you've been really selective on this record with that, and I love it. And all of them feel meaningful. Like you and Central C, it feels like the connection and chemistry. I mean, he's such a superstar, and he must be so in demand. So I'd imagine he's saying yes because there's a friendship there, and there's a relationship where it's like it makes sense to both of you.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Yeah, that track is fucking sick. The sampling of Spandau Ballet. Do you even know that original?
No. What do you mean?
Well, I'm glad. I don't know.
No, that song is big. In the UK, that's like a very big song. Like I don't know what's the equivalent of you guys' like what is a big song over here
in Australia?
Like,
well, Kylie Minogue. I don't know.
Okay. I know.
I gotta claim it back.
Of course, you're New Zealand. So wait. So what is?
Don't dream it's over.
See, I don't know that one. But in my opinion, do you guys know Spandau Ballet Gold?
It's like my karaoke.
I feel like you just are very. I feel like you just know your shit.
No. I mean, he does, but he knows. It's my karaoke tune.
Gold?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. Well, I just feel like a lot of people, because when it comes to sampling, I try and use the more obscure ones. Not back at home, everyone knows the song, but over here, I try and make sure people on the radio in America are not going to know where the sample's from.
Do you know that Tears for Fears song, Shout?
I love Tears for Fears.
Same.
Yeah.
I saw them live this year.
Where?
At the Hollywood Bowl.
Oh, really?
One of the best shows
They
ever.
performed at the Canterbury Cricket Ground where actually I worked.
No fucking way. You worked at the Canterbury Cricket Ground?
Canterbury Cricket Ground? Not the
I fucking love the Canterbury Cricket Ground.
Hold on. Canterbury is in New Zealand, right?
There's a Canterbury in New Zealand.
Okay. Not that one.
You're clawing it back?
Yeah, I'm trying to save it.
No, I know about the Canterbury Cricket Club because I'm a cricket fan from back in the day. So, like, how do you get a job at the Canterbury? Sorry, everybody. I know you wanted a serious, deep conversation about the album. We're way off the fucking mark now. What did you love so much about cricket that made you want to work it? Or was it just money?
The money, yeah. Because I was not anything involved with the cricket. I was just the waitress.
Right.
I'd pour beers. I didn't know that you had to tilt the cup. It was really
page
embarrassing.
number 1 in the beer pouring book.
But they didn't give me that book.
So you were just frothy. You were just pouring a frothy pint.
Frothy pint. Such a horrible pair of words.
Yeah, frothy pint. It's not good.
No.
What other words don't you like?
Cataract. Zane Lowe. I'm joking.
See, I think that's a deflection. I think you like me a lot. I think you like me a lot. I think you think I'm a good hang. I think you think I'm a good hang. I think you think I'm a good hang.
Okay.
You can't distract me with that. You can't.
Anyway, back to the conversation here.
Bad words. Cataract.
Yeah. Cataract.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, it's not nice.
It's not nice, right?
Nice.
Pudding.
No, I like that. It makes me feel soft.
Oh, yeah.
When you say pudding, it reminds me of like sponge cake.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a sweet tooth?
Oh yeah, I do. After every meal, you need a sweet treat.
I mean, I'd go straight to dessert if I could. If it was like socially acceptable, I would be like, hit me with the dessert at the beginning of the night.
Do you watch what you eat?
I do.
Okay.
But, because, I mean, and this goes back to a point you made before about being 19 and concerned that you'll never look as good, feel as good, sound as good.
Yeah.
I'd never look better.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd love to see a young photo of you. You are young, sorry. But a younger, like, I'm talking 20.
I mean, I'm not going to bore you with fat Zane Lowe, but it's Googleable.
Oh.
I mean, my 20s and 30s, a lot of frothy pints.
Okay, yeah, sure.
A lot of frothy
Frothy
pints.
pints.
So, when it comes to choosing how you moved, who you made this music with on this album, you've got Phil, who does great work with you. You've got Mura, who has obviously become someone that you trust. Were the people you worked with for the first time? Did you extend your collaborators out this time?
Yeah, Benny X.
Love him.
Yes.
How funny is he, by the way?
He's really funny, actually.
Yeah,
isn't
like
he?
a serious sense of humor.
He's got a great sense of, but you know what I would say? I feel like I at first I don't think I got the humor. I thought he was being serious about a lot of things. And I remember thinking, okay, I don't know if I should laugh right now or I don't know what the comedic timing is.
Yeah, because he's got a straight face. He keeps a good straight face.
Yeah, he does. He doesn't really laugh with you.
Yeah.
So I didn't know, but then I looked on his socials and I realized
Real good.
He's actually yeah.
Which one did he work on with you?
The one with Kalela.
Yeah, Bury Me, I figured.
And then because of the
Boom.
yeah. And then another one. Not gonna tell you which one.
Okay,
So I feel like it.
strange detail to hold back, but I appreciate it. I respect it. I have
Yeah.
everything we've talked about a lot. Canterbury Cricket Grounds and growing up emo, a lot of
Yeah.
like deep stuff. I feel like I've coaxed quite a lot of life out of you for someone who doesn't really want to share life. I've seen your interviews. You don't like interviews. I'm doing my best to make this the
Well,
most
you know what? It's not
enjoyable,
that.
unlikable interview you've ever done.
No. Honestly, for me, it's not about if I like or dislike. I love an interview where the person who's interviewing me knows who I am and things about me, because I can always sniff when people don't.
How am I doing?
You were doing it excellent, but I knew before I even came on here that it was
Right,
going to
right,
be good.
right.
But some people I can sniff it off on you if you just know me as
They're
more
the
of a
ones
name.
that are like, hey, we got PinkPantheress in the studio. Wow, congratulations on all the success.
Yeah.
And your music is doing really great. And how do you find having an audience? And
Yeah.
they just put words out there. They're like, whatever.
I can always tell. So this is obviously, I'm having a great time. I was actually going to Google you when you're younger. Am I able to do that, or do you want me to wait till afterwards?
Maybe after.
Oh,
That was a good one. That was fucking outstanding. That was the best one yet. Smash that. Smash the shit out of that. I mean, if nothing else, you're going to come away with like the mastery of Oz.
yeah, I know.
So let's talk about those friends that are truly honest with you. Did they know you when you were an emo kid?
Yeah. Honest with me. No, I think they met me just after that.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you a trusting person? Do you make friends easy?
Not anymore.
What changed?
Well, I'm sure you can guess.
Well, it's a conversation.
It is.
It's not a guessing game. It's not games night.
Okay. Well, obviously, when you do, I'm sure once you find, success in a certain field, especially because in my group of friends, everyone, and most people I meet are people that are prospective. Is that the right word?
Sure.
People that want to be musicians or want to be in the music industry.
Right.
I always love to help people. That's one thing I always like. If there's a job that needs doing, I'll go to a friend rather than somebody that's 40.
Yeah. I give that 10% to the people that I fuck with is the line.
10%, great. And but there are people that do come in at a weird angle, and then before you know it, instead of being just your friend, they request things from you that and I've had that a lot. And with those people, it's very hard for me to navigate how I want to proceed. But it's weird because it was the same thing with the interviews, how I can always smell if somebody doesn't really, I can always smell it on people what their intentions are. And that's when it becomes a little sad.
That's a huge skill to have in life.
Oh, yeah,
generally.
it is. Yeah, it is.
Where do you think you got that from? What was not to get too personal and tell us what you feel like or not, but I mean, in terms of from growing up and your relationship with your folks, were they trusting? Did they give you space to grow, to find your identity? Was it a little more sort of conservative, tough to sort of get away and find your own voice?
I'd say it was, it's weird because my memory is so bad. I almost can't remember.
Has it always been like that?
What, my memory?
Yeah.
No, you know what? Is my memory is good about things I care about. I'm not saying I don't care about my childhood, but I'm saying you don't really think about your childhood as being something that you'll later need to describe or talk about.
Fair.
So for me, my memories was like, it was my dad specifically. I knew that he wanted, I think both of them just put emphasis on working and making your own money.
Yes.
Because I feel like that's every parent. I mean, that's something that I don't
just
know how
be
you are.
independently minded and be able to function.
Yeah. Exactly. Have jobs. I think with them, it wasn't necessarily like I never mentioned wanting to do music to anyone
You just kept it to yourself
Ever.
the whole way through?
Yeah, I didn't talk about it with anyone,
What
actually.
a joy to be able to do that and not have people expecting like, it's been 6 months, where's the proof of purchase?
Do you know what I mean? And I see it a lot where people have told me something about what they want to be, and then I feel like, and it sounds bad, but I feel like everyone's guilty of this, where you kind of look back at the same person that told you what they wanted to, and you're kind of like,
Yeah, it's tough.
where are
Because you set your intentions up front and
but you need to sometimes keep them here, make it happen somehow, figure it out, manifest. I mean, God, I mentioned that every interview. Manifest, but
I'm a fan of that though.
Yeah. You have to be.
Yeah.
Manifest it, but don't reveal all your cards that early, That's what I didn't want to do. In fact, I didn't want to reveal them so much that the cards were almost not even in the on the poker poker
table,
room,
on the
in the gambling room.
Almost not even in the game.
No.
Just observing it.
Just observe it, yeah, exactly.
Like I could do it better.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I may not even try. So glad you did. When you think back to the songs that you put out now, because this is a different body of work, and like I said, it feels different. Like even playing Capable of Love on the show today, I mean, I love that song, and to me, that's a perfect example of, I'm sorry if I get a little lost, but I have no questions. I just listen to music, feel it, and then start.
Yeah.
So, but when I hear that song, I feel like it's the perfect combination of the dance floor, of the tempo I talk about, but it's real emotional.
Yeah.
Like I think one of the most emotional things you've done.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Vocally.
Without
for sure.
saying. We're vocally, without saying.
Yeah.
Sure.
So can we talk a little bit about the making of that song? I know you don't mind dissecting songs.
I will dissect. So that's not a nice word either.
Dissect's not good.
No, I don't like that.
I don't like that either.
Yeah, I can dissect the song.
You can think of a different word.
I can chop up.
That's good.
Cut up. I can explain the song.
Thank you.
Okay. It's okay.
Yeah. So where were you when you wrote that?
God, that song was made in 2021 with a producer called Risk. And we were just in his studio, and I wasn't sure what was going to come out of the session at all, by the way. But I remember at that point, whenever I'd go into a session, I don't know what it was. I didn't enjoy sessions back then.
Because it's tough. Hi, nice to meet you. Should we make a song that's going to live forever?
And it felt forced. It felt forced. Every session felt forced. I remember thinking, God, not another. Like, I remember, but they were the label were obviously trying to also this was where I just signed, I wasn't really sure what was going on. I was like, I remember thinking, I obviously was arrogant. I was like, I've done everything by myself. I was genuinely thought no one's going to be able to make a song for me.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt every session. Funnily enough, though, every session I'd make a song. But in this session, I remember thinking okay, I'm just going to make the song really quickly and then I'm going to go out and meet my friends to get food. Like that. That's how I was treating it, like a clock in, clock out situation. So I didn't think too much of the melody I wrote or anything. I just kind of thought, okay, this is, hopefully he likes this, hopefully, And I didn't really think about that song too much at first. And then I remember it got leaked, or I don't know, it leaked somewhere. I remember people...
How does anything leak in 20...
People leak it themselves, Zane.
But it's just like, really, what's the fucking... what is the point in that now? It's not in 2008.
See, for me, it's... I don't know. I think it's nice for real fans to have a feeling of,
I got this.
I got this, I'm really... And some, especially for my fans, because they're such fiends for the actual music itself.
That's a really nice way of putting it, though.
They're fiends for the music itself,
That's the first time I've actually looked at it from that perspective, which is crazy after 2 decades of leaking records. But the thought that actually somebody having it and feeling like they've got it, even before you even intended, being kind of a romantic gesture is kind of cool.
It's a bit of a friendship gift. I wouldn't say romantic.
Aww.
I don't want to... I'm platonic with my fans.
Oh, there's many definitions for romantic, though.
That's my definition is
just keep it platonic.
Is platonic.
One or the other.
Yeah.
So let's think of another word for romantic. Is a thoughtful.
Yes,
thoughtful. As a thoughtful
gift.
gesture.
Yeah. So that's how I viewed it, and I thought to myself. Also, it's just to kind of put it out and see what people think about it. I would not have probably put that song out had people not come up to me like, God, that is my favorite song of yours. I was like, you know what, that song could, And the leak is different to the one I put out. The leak is way less guitar-y. The leak is almost like the production was so light. I remember thinking, okay, we need to amp this up, because one thing that I also think is super important for me, it was anyway, is I needed to progress production wise.
Because you're a producer for sure.
I'm a producer, and also because people start demanding that from you, and you get bigger. They're like, well, you have no excuse.
We like that.
These.
We like bump.
Yeah.
We like that.
Yeah.
More of that. And
Yeah,
you're
more of
like,
that.
nah.
Yeah, and I'm like, nah.
Guitars.
Why not?
Yeah, it's cool, and and that's one of the things I love about the album is that there's lots of different feels and moods and vibes, and I can tell that you've gone through that process of sort of pushing yourself sound wise and where you can take it. I'd imagine that for you, that's probably one of the most important steps you've taken because you could just continue to sort of exist in that sound. Know what I mean?
But unfortunately. And that's what I think that's what people were expecting. And I was like, no, like other people are now filling that gap.
Yeah.
Other people are doing that now.
Yeah.
And I'm getting bored of it.
Yeah.
I was getting bored of it back in 2021.
Yeah.
I was like, I think I'm going to move on. And I also think like, I want to, I don't know. I think my concern is I want to now find another genre which I can like make. I mean, I don't know how to put it. I want to like take over something else, not just that side. I want to find.
Well, because we're getting to know different sides of you and what inspires you and what really motivates you creatively. I think in the beginning, one of the things everyone was so drawn to was that you made it sound so easy.
Yeah.
It was like beat, bass. I'm fucking gonna crush this lyrically and melodically like
bass.
it's nothing. Like I'm just gonna don't have that. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Fuck, how does she make that sound so easy? So it's cool hearing you struggle, and I mean that as a compliment.
Yeah.
No, in a good way. Struggle's important. Radiohead struggle every album.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. They push themselves. You push yourself. You can't tell me that like doing a song like Ophelia or Capable of Love is easy. Or is it still really
Wait, you
easy?
said was making those songs easy?
Yeah.
No, those songs weren't easy at all.
Exactly. That's what I
The
mean
songs
by
were very
struggle.
hard to make. I mean, all of them were. Yeah, I did struggle the whole bloody time. I was struggling the whole time. But I feel like I was. Yeah, it's weird. I know what you're saying. I'm trying
Please
to
tell me.
remember. No, I know what you're saying, Zane. Yes, what you've just said, I've now had to deconstruct in my mind
Right.
and go, wait, yeah, it was super easy to write those songs. And now it is getting harder to write these songs because I guess the beat, using beats like garage and drum and bass, they kind of write themselves.
Freestyle vibes.
So having to like really chop up and like create different moments and make a bridge, for example, and
Yes.
it is hard.
Yes, exactly.
You might have ate just now.
Thank you. Exactly. When you hear this song right here, it's like you can't just go in and sorry, it's taking.
Couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you.
That's a serious
I couldn't
moment.
tell you.
Like that's a serious moment. Like Benny X has shown up.
Benny
He's
X
giving
is
you
it.
he's given you his signature boo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo descending bass line thing,
Yes.
which I love.
Yeah, same.
I texted him the other day about that shit. I was like, hey man, what you do with that
That
bass
descending
is
bass?
so sick. And he's just sent this voice note back to me, just going,
I love him. So simple.
so cool.
Yeah, cool.
Cool cat.
Yeah, he's a cool cat.
So the album is done. Congratulations. Super happy for you.
Thank you.
Happier for us because we now get another body of work.
Oh,
and-
yeah.
No, for sure. And it feels it feels legit. I don't know. You could have gone and become a detective.
I might still.
No, we've established you're
Okay,
not a very
fine.
good
Yeah,
detective.
just
You
playing
don't like
games.
blood. You don't like touching things,
fine.
smelling things, showing up
Okay.
on. You don't want to show
just
up to
playing
the
games.
crime scene.
Yeah, you're right.
Cluedos. That's the name of the game.
Okay, thanks. You grounded me just then. You just grounded me. Thank you for bringing me back to reality.
Yeah, I am 50.
You are
It comes
50.
out of it.
Yeah.
What are you most excited about next year?
I think I'm excited about. I really enjoy. Oh, let me think about this. God, I'm actually really excited to see which song people are drawn to the most. Not saying that's something that's specifically for next year. I'm also excited to go on tour, even though
are?
I'm lying. I'm not. But like, I'm excited to visit. I think I'm visiting New Zealand next year too. You
Not
know,
if I have anything to do with it.
the border's gonna.
Done.
Yeah.
Done.
I don't know. I am excited for a few. I'm excited to. I want to write more for people. I want to do more writing sessions.
Yes, and I'd imagine that people are calling you to do that, and you've been busy doing this. Have you
Yeah.
had to say no a few times when you want to say yes?
No, actually, that's the thing. People do. I've been called. Don't get me wrong, but not as many people as you think. And just because I think people, when it comes to I think people are concerned that I'll write in a way that's too much like me.
Yeah.
Because I've got such a specific melody. I think people
Right.
are probably a bit like, oh,
Right.
we don't want her to make a song that sounds like her.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
but-
had that before.
This album will change that.
I hope so.
Of course it will.
Of course.
Of course, mate. Just don't go to any movies ever again.
Explain the joke.
Well, last time you went to a movie.
Oh, shut up. No, I'm so fucking sick of this.
No, I'm not talking about it. I just thought it was funny.
It was pretty funny.
By the way, it's a great lull to have in an interview because everyone's going to be preoccupied, like, see what happens when you go to the movies, you miss a fucking Kendrick Lamar session. It's like, you could have just done it an hour later or 3 hours later. It's not like it's a one-time only thing.
No, but listen,
It's a good lull.
it's a good LOL.
It's a good LOL. What's been your favorite non-PinkPantheress creative experience, though, where it hasn't just been about you?
So me included, me making
Yeah, being
with other
involved, but
people.
it's... Yeah, exactly. Or like...
Oh, let me think. Other people, that's not me, but I've been part of the creative process.
Yes.
OMG. How selfish am I to not be able to think of any?
That's right. We'll come back to it. We're nearly at the end. How do you feel about Boys a Liar?
Yes. It's a good song. It's actually a great song. Sorry, I love it.
No, you're fantastic,
I
dude.
almost
It's like...
didn't know what to say, but great song.
Great song.
Yeah.
Life changer.
Yeah.
Kind of.
No, well, yeah, it is.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, residuals.
Residuals.
Got to be solid.
Gotta be.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
For the
Mum.
next
Dad.
50 years.
Yeah. No, yeah, great song. Really great song.
Great asset.
Great asset. Stop. I don't think about it in those terms all the time.
Great investment property.
Yeah. Great house.
Listen, we
Great
get...
mortgage.
Yeah. Well, here's to today.
Here's today.
We may never speak again. I hope we do.
The hell?
No,
Where's
I
that
hope,
came
no, but I mean, who knows with you? You may decide, like, I'm going to go off and do something completely different. I'm going to be a horticulturalist.
Horticulturalist. No, I think I'm going to be here.
That's what I'm
I
trying to
do
get at.
think-
I'm glad to hear it.
Okay.
Congratulations on this album. I hope you've enjoyed this little roller coaster ride through many different topics.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
I always didn't want it to end. Almost.
But it has.